You can threaten, you can do all sorts of things that women do, and beg, borrow, steal, again, do all sorts of things, but do it if you just leave it to him to do, because he's really the only one. But then get on with, why is he here? You know, I'm going to trust him for that. Now I'm going to be busy with other things. I'm going to rebuild my life. That's very popular in the world today. I'm going to think about me. And so, yeah, be agreeable. I am going to think about me. I'm going to think about rebuilding, you know, my life in a way that is going to, when the rains do come, that is not going to collapse. You know, it's going to remain standing. And also to be kind of a shelter for the others, you know, because yours will be the only ones where with it. And you know, interesting one of the homes we lived in, it had severe flooding, and not surprisingly, it, you know, it burst the banks. You know, it had been raining so much north, and it got down and it burst the banks. It washed out bridges and things. The water came right to our back door where these books were. All these books were still on shelves, you know, there in this. They came right up to the door. And people came from all around. It was almost an island, because we were almost surrounded by water, and people would find their way in, but people came and stayed with us. We were the only ones that, you know, we were above water level, even though we were down in a valley. You know, it's all symbolic, isn't it? How is it that it just surrounded us? But I don't know. It was just amazing with that. But that's exactly what it is. And to house those and comfort those. And I mean, you just can't imagine how rich and meaningful your life can be, and how you can wake up just, you know, excited about the day, excited about everything that's happening. It's just a really wonderful existence. So even though you might feel it's the worst thing that ever happened to you, and I remember those, like, my gosh, this is devastating, you know, and it hurts so much. And then to see, you know, I couldn't get out of it right away. I didn't have a book. I didn't have anybody to tell me. I didn't have one testimony, not for years, you know, that it could even be, if it was even possible, you know, which came, you know, but when I got that verse that the whole ministry is on in Luke, you know, with God, nothing is impossible, you know? And I thought, okay, well, not only does he say it once, he says it in many of the books of the Bible. See, I know what books are now, the books of the Bible, of all the different ones, but in every one, it says something to that extent, you know, with God, with man, it's impossible. With God, all things are possible. So remember that, because God is the one who has to do it. Leave him to it. Be busy doing this other, be busy ministering and comforting and sending this out. Buy paperback books if that's your thing. I want to hand those out. I want to keep a trunk. People in my community used to keep a trunk load of the books, you know, they would and pass them out and bring them to libraries and, you know, things like that. And it's just because whether the marriage is restored or not, it's showing them that's your source, you know? And it's all about the relationships, which is what, you know, the restore your relationships, which is the same ones. But I'm getting off on other things. I've kind of hijacked your podcast. I'm going to turn it off. You see, so now you know why the nuns stuck me outside.
Exactly. So getting back to why we're having this podcast, what we're really trying to say is the How God Can and Will Restore Your Marriage is really for when you are in crisis. And I mean, I read the book in a couple of hours. I was that desperate.
Wow.
And so read the book and, you know, allow it to just heal you because, you know, you are so broken. And that's what it did for me. And then I slowly started working through a wise woman, writing down the scriptures and really just, you know, becoming a doer of his word. And then, don't stop there, move on, because we've got, and that is why on Hope at Last, you'll see, I have a lot of wise women, and not that much of how God can and will restore your marriage, because we're here to rebuild our lives, and then to then move on. And so I've got a lot of Love at Last, Abundant Life. I've taken things from there and from Homegrown, and I've put that on the blog as well, so that you can understand that it's not just about, yes, we're here to restore our marriage, but it's about so much more. And that is what's happened in my life. It's been about so much more. And I found my abundant life. And in finding my abundant life, I've been able to minister, I believe, to women in a better way, because I have a husband that I can go to, my heavenly husband.
Yes, and everyone can have that husband,
Yes.
And you don't have to wait for the husband who's divorced you, remarried someone else. You can have that husband who knows everything, can take care of you in every way. He can meet all your needs. And we can offer that to everyone. That's the amazing thing, and that's like with my sister, who she isn't married. She's recently divorced, or kind of divorced. I don't really know. I don't ask, I just listen. But what, it's a second marriage, or he's in a second marriage, she widowed. So, but anyway, the thing is to tell her, and so she isn't desperate to find a man to help her feel safe, because that's one of the things she was brokenhearted and crying about. She wants to feel safe and secure, and and I said, only one can give that to you, and he will give you that, the security and the protection and the guidance and everything that you need, and to pamper you in ways you never could imagine. Every woman could have that. And again, the introduction happens with the Restore Your Marriage, because they're broken. You can feed that in, or with health, we have health book, like that, where you can minister same principles, because it's his principles work in everything, and you can apply it to everything pretty much. And so I just think it's a fascinating, and I love coming here because you bring it over, and now you're in another ministry, or you're bringing it to the children's ministry, Homegrown, and bringing it back there, so you can minister. We talked about who you first minister to. If you're a mother, it's your children, isn't it? I don't think we tapped on that, because the first person, and then who I also had to help and reinforce, and we get to that Scottish principle that we talked about in the IOU, is I had to minister to my mother, because she was frightened for me and for for her grandchildren. And so as I was learning things, I was sharing them with her, and she knew just as little about the Bible that I did. I don't know that I opened my Bible or anything, but I would tell her those things. And then telling my children, when they were crying, I always remember the first one was with my third son. He was crying because his dad was working all the time. Thankfully, they didn't know what was really going on, and that he was living with another woman or anything, but that he was working. Daddy's working, And so, when he'd come to visit, every time he'd leave, they were devastated. But, I said, what can I do? And then I immediately remembered the verse that ministered to me. I will never leave you or forsake you, because if you've been abandoned, by somebody who you've trusted, that I'll never leave you nor forsake you. And just that one just totally changed his life forever. Just that first verse there, that first truth there. So beautiful. I think that's definitely the first ministering, if you have children, and ministering to your parents, and, don't share all or your siblings who are frightened for you and want to fight back. My sister said she confronted my Dan way back, in the thing. She said, "Did you know I did that?" And I said, I kind of remember. I didn't say to her, but I'll say it now. Little good it did. As a matter of fact, it was after she did that he disappeared. So there you go.
yes.
That'll tell. I don't think it
Yeah.
had to do with that,
Yes,
but
it didn't.
there you go, And I
It
remember,
had
Yeah.
thinking, oh, if this person just talked to this person, only person
No.
who could talk
No.
and change, it's God. And that's
Oh,
again,
only.
how
Mhm.
God can,
Yeah.
Yes.
not going for anyone else, not trying to do,
Mhm.
and not you. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, there's nothing worse than you trying to
Yes.
convince and just being more heartbroken. I mean, that's the thing. I think all of us can agree we were so broken and so hurting.
Yes.
The last thing you want to do is add more pain or insult to the injury
Yes.
you already have. That's why keeping it to yourself, bringing everything to God, your father. I just need a father, to comfort me, then go to God the Father. If you just need you need a husband who's going to never leave you or forsake you, comfort you, be there for you. You've got a husband. Start talking to him about that. That's at Love at Last, of course. We can go to that one too. But I think that's what it is. We don't want it to be harmed. This should restart your heart. If you've had like a heart attack, which we all have, you've gone into shock, you've had a stroke, I can't even, like it is like that almost, like you can't even work one side of your body. You just are in this horrible state, the amazing thing is that you won't remember that. I don't remember the pain of it. I remember what it was like enough to have comfort for others. But you're so far removed from that, because you enter into this like paradise, and like I didn't even know this world existed, because and I mean that's that abundant life. Of course, we could bring in Dina for that, but that abundant life, like, oh my gosh, is this like heaven on earth? I remember being suffering so much. I never contemplated, I had children, I never contemplated taking my life, but I kept thinking, if you want to take me, I'm ready to go, and I just thought, I just have to endure this life, until I can be happy, not realizing, hey, I can live like that. This is heaven on earth, to live like that. And yes, there are those things that go on, but he insulates you, he guides you, he helps you, he finds good in it. So bad things, good things come from it, and you're just excited to see what are you about to do, It doesn't happen instantly for me, I still have that, oh my gosh, what's this, because we are human. I'm not a robot, and I'm not just weird in the head, even though you might think that I'm not. I'm just about a normal. But the fact is that this, as soon as I can just, and you don't have to go away and talk. You know what I love now? People sit around and they're talking, and they'll have an ear pod in or ears thing. I could be talking to, my husband, my creator, and I could be just rambling on. They wouldn't know that nobody's on the other end. Right? I couldn't got rid of. 33 years ago, they'd lock me up. For sure, like that, But we could be talking away in that. But the thing is talking in your heart and just having this ongoing conversation and the comfort. It all begins with this. So if you're just starting out, you just found out about that he's cheated, or you think he's cheated, or he just didn't show up, or he's missing. My husband, after being confronted, no, it wasn't that, but after all that, just disappearing, no matter where it is, and how is it going to affect your children or your livelihood, you will be absolutely amazed the more that you don't try and do it, just like how God can and will do everything you know, how he sent you someone, a husband, you know, for you, so you can be a bride, you know, remember that, you know, a bride, maybe you didn't even have a good wedding or you didn't feel like a bride. He'll make you feel like that. It's just amazing. And, you know, you could say, okay, you know, Aaron's crazy, but what about all of you? You know, in all your situation, in all the different countries, and it's just not us, the ministers. We hear it everywhere. We can't count. We couldn't even count what it is. So as much as you want him to do, he will do. As much as you give to him, he'll do it for you. And I think that's really how God can and will do everything. But it begins here with that crack, you know, restarting the heart, helping us with the stroke, you know, to be able to speak again, right? You know, like that, and healing you and bringing you into that. And that's what he loves to do, is when we're broken, we want to be close to him and we want to have that. And that's the closer we are, the more we're transformed, the more our lives are transformed. And then we transform the lives of others around us. You know, we become that light. Our light shines even greater. Is there any page did you want me to go to? Anything else? Are you ready to
I'm ready to close off for us, Zara?
I'm so glad that you're showing Love at Last, because I just want to say that Hope at Last and the Restore Your Marriage book and Wise Women and Workers at Home, which we have on Hope at Last, course 1, course 2, course 3, see it as opening the door, because we have so much more that, you know, that there is. I mean, you will always hear us speaking about an abundant life, and that's where we want women to be. You know, we want you to come in through the entrance, read the How God Can and Will Restore Your Marriage. As we said, don't keep it, pass it on, and then look and see, where is your heart? Do you want to become a marriage minister? Do you want to become his or her princess coach, or do you want to become an abundant life coach? You know, that is what we have.
These are all these different ones here, for sure. And there could be more after that. One thing I think, I'm going to interject it because I don't want to say it afterwards, but I think up at the top of this, make sure that they've read this book all the way through. You know, I mean, you can study it. And you want to have those because you want to know, you know, when you're talking to someone and they ask you something, you know, you don't have to I don't play ignorant all the time with you know, I don't know the answers to each question, but I can give you those principles. I can share those promises. And another thing is reading those promises over and over. You know, we said the 3x5 cards. I have reminders that I read when the ministry was moving forward, that I read every day. And they just, what happens is that they become what we do. We don't even have to do it. He just makes it happen because your mind is changing in that direction and you just naturally go there, you know? And it's just effortless. That's one of the things I love about this page. This is the way that I feel. You know, I came in so brokenhearted, but I'm just like this bride. I'm just floating along. And this is me every day. I just float along and just enjoying everything, you know? And what do you want to do? Even before I came to this podcast, my husband's saying, take your breakfast and sit outside and, you know, lay out the tablecloth. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm supposed to be getting ready for this podcast, you know? But it was it, you know? He just wanted to spend time and just relax. And I just had a wonderful time. I'm so glad that you invited me to this podcast to start with this and launching it. And anytime you want to invite me back on anything or any of these, it's my favorite topic, you know, is just ministering and what he's done and what he wants to do in everyone's life, and everybody passing along what they've learned. And it's just a wonderful abundant life.
For sure.
Yeah. So Yvonne, do you have anything that you would like to add, especially with RMIOU, because you are heading that up now? Is there anything you want to just say to end off?
Yes, I would like to say that the quicker you start to help others, the faster you'll see the healing within yourself. Like we said earlier, just having that principle of give and it will be given to you is not just materialistic things, it's things like your time, your encouragement. And I remember there was, and I don't know if it's in one of the encouragement videos that Erin says it or someone, is that especially when you don't have encouragement, phone someone, encourage them, send a message to someone, encourage them. You're not gonna, you'll know what it will do to you in that moment. You don't want to encourage someone.
Yeah, just think who is hurting more, who needs help more, who needs encouragement more, and just send them something. You can send them a promise, and we even suggest just sending it without the scripture reference. This is God's word, and it's going to heal and transform lives, and it's and then they start to yearn for that, and those truths. It's a wonderful thing, and this is the way you'll feel. This is why the picture, yes.
Yes,
it's great. It's you just don't want to stop. It is thrilling, so I think it's wonderful.
Okay, so I think that is the end. And Erin, thank you so much for coming and just sharing your heart. And Yvonne, thank you also for coming and sharing a bit about RMIOU. And I'm glad that I could have the both of you, because we could just understand, as an entirety, how everything works, coming in through Hope at Last. And, it doesn't stop there. You continue with Wise Women and the other courses, and then you can also then come to RMIOU and come and become a marriage minister or a coach So I'm glad that I could have you both, so that whoever is listening can understand as a whole how the ministry works. So I want to just thank you both.
Well, thank you for having me, and having Yvonne too. I love all of the three of us getting together, and I love South Africa. So even though I'm way here on the other side of the earth, I love South Africa. I wanted to move there. I just love it. So anyway, I've been several places in South Africa. So I like that we can at least visually, or like this, on the internet, we can visit one another.
Yes, awesome, for sure.
Okay, so that's that.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
thank you. I'll go ahead and end the meeting then.
Yes,
the podcast. All right, bye-bye. Thank you again.
Hi there, ladies. Please come and visit us at hopeatlast.com. Click on blog, where we share daily praise reports, ministry information, lessons, and ministry resources. You can sign up to receive our daily newsletter. You can click on free courses for our free marriage courses, and you can click on our give button, which will take you to PayPal, where you can donate and give and sow into the fertile soil of restoring marriages.